guys, Michelle Jones here, and I am going to be making tiramisu. So I've got a dinner party that's coming up on Saturday, and I always like preparing my desserts, especially ahead. Now, tiramisu is one of my favorite go-tos because you can actually freeze tiramisu if you've made too much of it, or if you want to prepare it ahead of time, you can freeze it or refrigerate it before you serve it, and it actually tastes much better. So I am going to make tiramisu. Some people actually have like the small cup for their coffee for the tiramisu. I like this container because I can easily dip my lady fingers, or sponge fingers, and it's easier. So I'm gonna put this one here into my Nespresso. I've got my Nespresso here, and I'm gonna just guide it a little bit. We are going to use India, Nespresso India. Can you see that? And that's what I'm gonna use. We're gonna grab our Nespresso India. And I'm gonna use 2 of the capsules to put in here. And I just press the lungo so that it actually gives me about 3/4 cup. That's more or less what it will come up to. Love the smell of this coffee. So yeah, so when I choose my coffee for tiramisu, it has to be whatever is the strongest flavor that you have, because that gets mixed with the cracker, with the kahlua. You want the flavor to actually be nice and strong. Otherwise, you just lose the flavor in the mix. I don't use instant. This is what I use. Right, so that's the amount of coffee I've got. I'm gonna put it down first and move this back just a little. It's out of the way. And in our coffee, we are gonna be adding kahlua. Now, you can add marsala and kahlua, but I don't have marsala, so we're just gonna use kahlua. And I'm gonna put 1/2 cup of kahlua in this. Love, love, love the taste of kahlua. So when we have it in the mixture, it just makes the mixture very nice, very yummy. Yum. Smells so good. All right, maybe get every last drop. And we're just gonna put this aside. We'll just mix it a little bit, but not really necessary because it should mix well, but just to be on the safe side and just to make sure that the flavor goes through well, just mix it a little bit. Okay. Now we're gonna put this aside, and what we're gonna do is we have to just make sure that our cream cheese is nice and all mixed up with the ingredients. All the ingredients have been sitting here for about a couple of hours so that they're not too cold. They have to be at room temperature, okay? When it's at room temperature, it's easier to actually work with the ingredients. So we need 1/2 of this. We're using about 500 grams of cream cheese. Here in Fiji, you're able to buy Anchor cream cheese. Another one that they have here is the Paul's. I haven't used Paul's. I've used Anchor here. Paul's, usually we use the thickened cream of Paul's because this is the brand that we use in Australia. But here in Fiji, what we have been using as well for our thickened cream is the Anchor. So, plugging brands. Just letting you guys know, so if you're wondering what you're able to get if you're watching this from Fiji, Anchor. Okay? All right, so we are going to open this up and cut it up into half. I don't really, sorry, I've got if you can see there, I have just baked my banana brownies, banana chocolate and pineapple brownies. I haven't tried it, it's still hot, so now I am doing this one next. I am going to be making another cream cheese recipe later, which is the Oreo cheesecake. And so I am not worried about, you know, the rest of this. If you're not going to use everything, make sure that you store it well. So I am going to grab this. I'm going to use the big big bowl, and we are going to cut it in half. It's about, estimate that's half. And I am just literally going to press and push. Okay. It's not rocket science. So you can just cut it up. If you're really wanting the bits, so now I can grab this one. So whatever bits are left on the top, you can just grab them, add them, use your spatula so that the measurement is kind of closer to perfect. We don't want to waste any of the cream cheese. I do love the taste of the cream cheese in my tiramisu. I've always used cream cheese. Some people use mascarpone. I haven't really. I think only because in the countries that we've been to, it's easier to buy cream cheese. And again, love, love, love the flavor. Okay. Cream cheese is there. We're gonna just put it in. Oopsie. And this is gonna be a little bit loud. Mixer's there. My kitchen aid, let me just move that a little bit. And when you're mixing the cream cheese, just do it slowly at first. And ideally, if you have this guard, put the guard so that nothing bounces out. Okay? Literally just slowly, because as it turns around, it actually starts separating itself. And the reason for this one is because it literally climbs up, right? You can just stop it every now and again to adjust it. Oh, didn't have to. So adjust, increase it a little bit, and it's actually mushed it well. Yeah, very nice. The key is not to over mix anything. So that is nice. And again, as I said, that's been at room temperature for about a couple of hours, so it's actually nice and soft. Just gonna remove it from the side so that we're not wasting any bit of the cream cheese. A little bit actually jumped out on the side, so putting them back in. Not really a food blogger, so my cameras aren't exactly designed for it. So, all right. So that's done, and I am going to just remove that because we are gonna do the egg next. You have to get 3 eggs and separate the whites and the yolk. And we are going to be mixing them separately and then folding them into this cream cheese. So I just want to make sure that there are no big bits. And okay. That you're going to be using the beater next because we're going to be beating the eggs. So, yum. So just using the whisk, removing it from the sides, making sure that there are no big bits, that it's actually nicely soft and smooth and blended, and that's good enough. We're not going to do more than that. So remove this, put this on the side, and we are going to be using the smaller bowl and this one. And we are going to beat the egg yolk and the sugar in the medium bowl. Is the red of the egg. 3 egg yolks here. And then this is half a cup of castor sugar. So all you do is you mix them, put them in, not mix them, combine them, that's the right word. Combine them. Cover again. And always when you're first combining, just mix it slowly, and then once you can see that the sugar and the eggs are combined, then you can mix it better until it actually is a yellowish color. So that goes on for about 4 to 5 minutes. You just want to make sure that it's all mixed together, that it's nice and smooth. So not all the granulated sugary stuff. And as I said, the color starts getting lighter. Once that's done, we're going to be folding that here into this mixture. And you can either use a spatula or just the wooden spoon. I'm looking at the time on this one. So how many of you love the tiramisu? I hope you can hear me clearly despite the mixer. Tiramisu is my go-to when we have parties. Again, as I said, because you can't freeze them. But if you have the same business as we do, for meetings, catch-ups, coffee catch-ups, morning tea, afternoon tea, this is a really good one to just have in your freezer. And when you know people are coming, bring them out the night before and then serve. And it's an amazing dish, an amazing dessert. And I think we are done. Look at this. Nice and smooth. I'm gonna stop that, but look at that color. Really good color. Okay, so now that it's that color, it's very nice and smooth and fluffy. That's a description. And then once that's done, all we need to do is fold it into our mascarpone. You can do it the other way, but I actually like putting it in the bigger bowl. And I would never mix my cream cheese in the smaller bowl because it's just harder. It'll bounce, it'll come off. And I also don't want to keep it too long where it's too soft, right? So we have our mixture here. You can see that? And we are just going to pour this in and fold it into our cream cheese. Yum. As I said, it's just my spatula that I'm using. When you fold, you basically just, it's cut and turn, cut and turn. Mind you, I've had recipes that I've done as well for tiramisu where it's not folded. Literally, you just mix it. It doesn't really make a difference. It's still yummy if your recipe actually has the right measurements of the cream cheese, the eggs. Your mixture in the end is still gonna be perfect. The taste rather of your tiramisu will still be perfect. Okay. And when you're using, for example, a creamier mixture of the cream cheese or the mascarpone, folding it is easier. When it's the cream cheese, it can be a little bit harder to do it, so it's good exercise. All right, we're done. I just need another spatula to, if I can find one. Oops, just give me a sec. And this is just to this is quite good. And remember, with tiramisu, you don't bake it. So when you finish mixing everything together, you can literally just grab like a little teaspoon and taste it and see if it's the flavor that you like. Okay? All right. So again, we'll put this aside. We are just gonna quickly wash our bowl very quickly, and this one, because we're going to be mixing our egg yolk, egg whites. I just need to wipe it. Only because I don't want it yucky. And then I'm gonna need a towel, of course. Okay, you want to make sure it's not wet because it'll affect how you mix your egg yolk. Who among you love baking and who actually finds baking relaxing? I find baking nice and relaxing. I learned how to bake because my mom used to bake. And then when you've got kids, birthday parties, it's easier if you actually know how to bake. You know, so that whenever anyone wants something, you can get it right away. I mean, mind you, you can always go to the shops and just buy, and that's fine too. But I've always just loved being able to bake. Okay, now that that's done, we are going to put our 3 egg whites into the bowl over here. Again, small bowl, 3 egg whites, and we are putting in a 1/4 cup of sugar. I don't mind any leftover. I don't really stress about that. That's fine. And then we mix. So the same way as what we did earlier, we will still put this one because it can splatter. I always just blend slow until the sugar's all mixed up. And then I blend it at a higher speed. especially with egg whites, because with egg whites you usually have to beat it until it actually is quite fluffy. In this case, we want to beat until it's nice and white. So from the clear color, we want to beat it until it's nice and white, until it also forms soft peaks. Okay? If you don't beat it at a high speed, it takes forever to create those soft peaks. Mind you, if you don't have a mixer, you can actually do it by hand as well. Obviously, it just needs a little bit more work, a little bit more muscle, but you can definitely do it. So I did not always have a mixer, especially if we've been waiting for our shipment to arrive. And when that's the case, then we just use hand. Okay, so check this out. We can stop and check. Let's remove this one so you can see it better. Okay, when we lift this and soft peaks form, then that's it. Okay, I need to actually put this down, otherwise, all right. Soft peak is when you lift, it's still not peaking, so we'll just blend just a little bit. We just want it a little bit firmer, not too firm, just a little bit firm. But the key here is when it turns and you actually see that, that's when you start realizing, okay, now it's starting to form something, and let's check it. Okay, again, I'm gonna show you guys how it looks like. It's very easy to overbeat with egg whites, so just learn to keep an eye out for it. Okay, so I'm going to show you how this looks like. Now that you can see it actually is holding when you do that. See how the tip actually curves? That's what you mean by soft peak. Now we're going to fold that back into this mixture where we put the egg yolks earlier. I'm gonna do half of it first. And then we're just going to okay, and then we'll put the other half. See that? And then so you're not wanting to mix it too much because you don't want to get rid of the fluffiness. want it nice and fluffy. All right. And then we're going to put 1/3 cup of thickened cream. This is my 1/3 cup. And as I said, we're using this anchor. Oops. Yeah. All right, 1/3 cup. Thickened cream. And we just pour that in. Again, just mix that in. The thing to remember as well is make sure that you're mixing what's underneath. You don't want to have all those big pieces that haven't mixed in the bottom, okay? Even if you're just folding, you have to be able to mix the bottom, okay? Okay, then that's ready. What we now need to do is lay the base of our lady fingers, and then we're going to be alternating. Let me just remove all these things here. We are going to be using this container. It's more or less a 20-liter container, 20-liter Pyrex dish, okay? So we will put that down there. We're gonna be, let me just put that there. Yep, so you can see it. My phone's a little bit wonky. I've got my coffee there, and we are gonna open our sponge fingers, lady fingers, okay? When you soak it in your coffee, just make sure you're not soaking it in hot coffee. And this one's cooled down already. You can put the coffee in, you can put the coffee mixture in the fridge if you prepared everything much quicker and it's still warm. This one is actually nice. It's the perfect temperature. And when you do it, I just count 2 seconds. I go 1 second, 2 seconds, do that. And then, how am I gonna do this? This way, I can do it that way. And then we do that again. 1, 2, I've turned it around, front, back. Front, back. You don't want it too long because it makes your tiramisu too soggy. And when there's spaces, I cover the spaces. So like in this case, we'll push that a bit so that we've got lady finger there. And then here in this case, we just cut this a little bit so that we've got lady fingers there. This can go in the mouth. Yum. Okay. Is something gonna fit here? You could. You can see And then put and push. Okay, so you've got a nice base. And then on this, we'll put half of our mixture. And we just pour the mixture. Where's my spatula? There we go. And pour half the mixture. Just a little bit more. Okay. Nice. Is that half? Maybe more or less. Don't have to be precise. The rest of it will go on top, and that's still fine. All right. And then we're going to do the same. Just open the other packet because we only have 3 pieces left on this one. So again, 1, 2, and then we put it there. And again, 1, 2, we put it there. Oopsie. 1, 2, we put it there. 1, 2. Put it there. As you can see, it's not a difficult cake to actually prepare. Again, squish. Move your butt. There we go. Nice. Am I gonna worry about that? Nope, not at all. Okay. And then we're gonna put the rest of the mix. I have a bit left over here that I can either put on top or, yeah, I'm just gonna put it on top. Then this goes into the fridge. And you want it in the fridge for overnight before you actually serve it. Now again, my dinner party isn't until Saturday. That's just 2 days, so this should be okay to just chill it in the fridge. And then what we're gonna do is put it first in the fridge, and then we are going to put some cocoa on top of this when it's already chilled. Right now, you don't wanna put the cocoa. We are gonna put our cover and then just put it in the fridge. So that's why I actually like using this one, because it's got a proper cover and I can chill it well. Oops, you didn't see that. There. So I can put the cover and chill it. Yeah? There you go. My tiramisu. So we used, again, 500 grams of my cream cheese. We put 3 eggs separated. We also had 1/2 cup caster sugar on one bowl and 1/4 cup on another, because the 1/2 goes with the egg yolk, the 1/2 goes with the egg white. 1/3 cup of our thickened cream. With our coffee mixture, I used 2 capsules of espresso and 1/2 cup of Kahlua. And then, what else did we need? Oh, our sponge fingers. Okay? So depending on the container that you're going to be using will dictate if we're going to be able to finish all of this and if we're going to finish all of the biscuits. So in my case, I only use 1.5. When I use my bigger container, still same recipe is used. I get to use up all my biscuits and my coffee. The only difference is I like it actually slightly taller. When I slice my tiramisu, I like it much thicker than, you know, big and short. Okay, I want the cakes taller. So that's why I use this Pyrex dish this time. So you can either use a 20-liter Pyrex dish or a 30-liter Pyrex dish with this recipe, because I've done it before. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. Let me know if you like tiramisu, want to try making tiramisu, and if you've actually tried it. And if you tried this one, let me know as well. Have a great day. Bye.